Hello and welcome to Blogsprout. I'm LJ and today I have my month 20 income report, and let me tell you, there is a big update that I made on my site in this month. So this is for August of 2023, and as we go through, I'll let you know what the big secret is, so stay tuned. All right, so the number of articles. I still haven't added any articles onto the site. So there are 435 posts at the moment. Page views. So we look at Google Analytics. It says there are 66,000 users, but 99,000 page views. So that is less than my previous month. I had about 120 page views, but I like to see that near that 100,000 mark. That's a really good thing and a really positive thing for me to see. So Ezoic. If we look at Ezoic, oh my goodness, what happened? Middle of the month, it just plummeted. What happened? So according to Ezoic, there were 41,000 visits, 62,000 page views. It's coming up. So you may have gotten a little peek there. So if we look at the traffic of what you just saw, I still have 60% about coming from Google, 13 from DuckDuckGo, 9 from Bing, and almost 4 from Yahoo. But if you were just paying attention, you notice I slipped up. And oh my goodness, I moved my site to Mediavine. Guys. So I know that's a really, really big switch. And I actually was approved last September for Mediavine. And I just wanted to stick it out with Ezoic. I did some research and I just didn't think that, going to another platform was necessarily going to bring in more money. I've heard, for the most part, I found some mixed results. I think it depends on niche. It depends on a lot of factors. And I'm going to have a whole video about the thought process and why I made the move and comparing the two. But in the middle of August, I switched to Mediavine. So there are some metrics on Mediavine that are similar to Ezoic, but it's not quite as thorough. So this is going to be something that we're going to adjust from the income reports going ahead. So very interesting fact and difference from Mediavine to Ezoic is that Mediavine is claiming that 74% of my traffic is from Google, as opposed to the 60. So that's definitely a very interesting observation. It says 8 from Bing, 4 from Yahoo, and only 5 from DuckDuckGo. So I wonder where the disconnect is there, and I don't have an answer for you. So if we look at Google Search Console, if we look at comparing month 20 versus month 19, things were very, very similar. It says maybe that there were 900 or so clicks difference, but the average click-through rate and position were about the same. So I know sometime in August there was a core update, and that didn't seem to affect my site too much, at least through August. So if we look at Bing Webmaster, that's supposed to say month 20, there were 7,000 clicks. And now we can look at the backlink profile. So according to Ubersuggest, if you know I have Ubersuggest, I have a paid version. This claims I increased my backlinks by about 100. And that increased my domain authority to a whopping 17. SEMrush has my site at only a 15, but it has 3.4 thousand backlinks? ? And Google actually said I gained 10. So that's interesting. I don't mind that number going up. Hopefully they are valuable. I haven't had a chance to look at the actual domains to see if they're of any value. Then looking at Bing, it went down by 3. I don't know why I continue to show you guys this. I guess it just helps you get some information about what my site is doing. You can use it for yours, but all these platforms give me such drastic such drastic results. And at one point at Google, I had over 1,000 backlinks. Now I've just over, or I have 150 or so. It just doesn't make sense. I can't make sense of it. Is this something that you guys have seen? Because I have zero thoughts and understanding about why this is happening. So let's jump into the income then. So as I mentioned, half the month basically was on Ezoic and half the month was on Mediavine. So if we look at the total revenue, there is $2,968.57. Not a bad month. So if we look at Ezoic, as you can see, maybe that 15th or around that time, I think I must have switched on the 15th. So I got some of the revenue from Ezoic and some from Mediavine. So I got just under $1,000 from Ezoic in the month of August, $998.98. What a pleasing number. With an EPMV of $24.12. If we look at the AdSense mediation, 187 of that 1,000 came from Google AdSense. And if we look at Mediavine, for the second half of the month, I got $1,479 and 43 cents. And that had an RPM. So Mediavine reports as an RPM instead of EPMV at $34.17, which is much higher than Ezoic. It'll be interesting though to see how the next month settles in. I did talk to a representative at Mediavine, and they said it may take a couple weeks for you to kind of find that medium point, but he made it sound like it would potentially increase to that medium point. So I got really nervous at the beginning. It was going to be really, really low, and I made a mistake switching. But towards the end of the month, I did see it's starting to level out, but my fear is that it's going to decrease based on the trend that I saw in August. So I'll keep you posted on how that goes. So if we look at Amazon affiliates, almost $500 in affiliate revenue, which I'm really happy about, $490.16, under 10% conversion, but that's really not that bad, come to think of it. Yeah, that doesn't seem all that bad. So this other affiliate, I had high hopes a couple months ago, then it went down. I can't tell you. I mean, it's only 61 clicks this month. So, even a 1% conversion rate wouldn't necessarily give me a commission. I just don't know why people aren't using it. I guess there are other options that they're just choosing not to use it. But again, I say this every time, but I'm going to keep it as is. So if we look at EPMV, if we're just looking at the portion of Ezoic, that was $24.12. But if we take Mediavine, Ezoic, and the affiliate earnings, that brings us to $36.65. That's pretty good. That's over $35. Obviously, that was a funny comment. But I really am happy with that number and where it stands. I'm just very interested to see where Mediavine is going to compare down the line. So if we look at expenses, I did have expenses for Ezoic. So I was charged in the month of August for the premium service. So that was $242.50. So if we account for that, that gives a total of $2,726.07 of profit. Now that I've moved to Mediavine, I'm pretty much not going to have any expenses unless I put money into my business for content or something like that. And that's not really the plan, for the upcoming few months. I'm really looking to save and kind of see where this business goes and where I'm thinking of taking it, in the next half year to a year or so. So the problems. Looking at month 20, I ran into a couple of problems. Obviously, I switched from Ezoic to Mediavine, and that really didn't bring up many issues at all. When I took down my ads on Ezoic, later that evening, they were up on Mediavine. So it was maybe an hour or two window that I didn't have ads on my site. So that was really, really nice to see. But when I made that switch, I did have low earnings the first day in Mediavine. So that was kind of scary when I saw that the RPM was just so low. But by the end of the month, I saw it kind of go up and then start to plateau. So we'll see in September if that trend continues. I had my site temporarily down from my hosting right after I switched from Mediavine. So, like a day or two later, I was trying to go on my site, actually all of my sites, and I was getting a connectivity error. I thought it had to do with Mediavine. I was very scared about it, but fortunately, it only seemed like it was down for a small period. It didn't really impact the performance or analytics of my site, but I was pretty frantically talking with my hosting and Mediavine trying to figure out what could be going wrong. As I've said before, I have my analytics like coded into my PHP theme file. So when I updated my theme, which I use GeneratePress for all of my sites right now, when I updated my theme, it got rid of that analytics code. So there was a low dip. So probably what we're reporting on Google is actually slightly lower. But here, one of the problems I foresee for this month and the future is that I'm still being charged for Ezoic Premium. I was on a month-to-month plan, so I wasn't being penalized for leaving early. But because it bases on your last 30 days, it's going to take a long time for the system to realize I'm took a huge chunk of my income off of Ezoic. So I'm paying a really high rate for sites that are bringing in little to no traffic. So I know it'll work as in like I get credit for the next few sessions. So I basically have paid for it and it's just going to last, a year or so because the premium rates that I should be on with my other sites are probably less than $10 a month because I'm really not earning much. So that's something I have to watch out for in the coming months. But it seems like they are picking up on the decrease in income. It's just, is it going to be at a fast enough rate that it's going to recognize that I have that money basically prorated. So that concludes the end of this very special and unique income report, which is half Ezoic, half Mediavine. And I know you guys are probably all very anxious. Well, I'm going to pretend you are to know about that transition, what it was like, what I had to do, why I really made it. And I promise I'm going to make a full video about the rationale, as well as the actual process. It is going to be hard to have a full video on it because I did apply to Mediavine back in September of 2022. So they already had a lot of my information. I don't exactly remember the process, but you have to connect some accounts and set some stuff up. But honestly, it was a much easier transition than I ever expected. I thought it was going to be so much harder, and that's one of the reasons why I delayed it for so long. So anyways, thank you guys for listening on this month 20. It was a really interesting month, and from here on out, these reports are going to be a bit different because we're going to take a lot of information from Mediavine. However, I'm really excited with the preliminary results that have come up so far. Half the month brought in $1,500 and half the month on Ezoic was only $9,000. So I'm hoping that I can see higher revenue without the premium payment that does actually put more money in my pocket. So that's all I got for today. There's going to be a few more updates coming this month on other sites, and I'm going to do my best to get them out. Things are pretty chaotic. I have so much on my plate and I can't keep up with it all. So appreciate you guys watching again. I'm LJ. This is Blog Sprout, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.